Alright, I'm back with Kat. We're actually filming like all these videos in like a 3-day time period, so that's why I'm banging these out. But it's a new day. We're gonna do a very popular TikTok thing for like podcasts. Oh, you're already looking. I don't even have mine up yet. Basically, we're gonna be doing Am I the Asshole? It's funny, and I'm usually quite entertained when I listen to these. It's usually with like the soap cutting videos or like the slime, and I'm sitting there like listening, like this, looking at the slime and like the ASMR stuff.
So I think give pretty good advice. So like, well, I know at least.
All right, mine's on Twitter. We got Twitter ones.
I have actual Reddit ones. I'm better.
What?
I'm just gonna start like, we can just like read.
Okay.
Like alternate. So I'll start because I have to like find a good title.
Fuck, I found a good one.
You can go first then.
Okay. Am I the asshole for scaring my sister-in-law with a cardboard cutout of The Rock? So that person, 32 female, sister-in-law, 43 female, is super nosy. It's come up before, but she's one of those people that will just deny it to the death no matter how much proof you have, and then get angry at you for not believing her. At my house, the guest bathroom is partially shared with the master bedroom. The toilet and sink are separate for guests, and you go to the bottom. I don't care about your fucking house plan. I don't.
Bro, read the
putting in the blueprint in here. She comes over, and she would sometimes take a bit too long in the bathroom. We know what that means. During maybe the third or fourth time, I happened to be walking by the bathroom and heard 2 doors close. I asked if she was looking for something in my bedroom, and I could help her find it. She replied with, no, why would I go in your bedroom? So basically, she's a little snoop. She's snooping through stuff. She asked directly if she'd been in our bedroom, and she said something like, I don't care what's in your bedroom, get over yourself. So yesterday, sister-in-law and brother-in-law came over. But before that, I ordered a full-size cutout of Dwayne Johnson, which I placed in our bedroom facing the bathroom door. After an hour into the visit, she heads into the bathroom. Very shortly after, there's a scream, a thud, and a door slam. She came out clearly angry. She'd been quite startled and slammed her upper arm on the door frame while turning around from the cutout. Brother-in-law made it worse by asking, well, why were you in their bedroom? She didn't answer and she left. She posted on Facebook that she had bruised her arm as a result of my nasty prank. People are saying she could have been hurt and worse, and that she's too old to be the victim of childish pranks. I feel badly she was hurt, but it wasn't my intention. I might be the asshole, but I still think it was hilarious. If I walked into a bathroom or a bedroom or whatever the circumstance was and saw The Rock as a cutout,
that would be fucking hilarious.
I would laugh.
Like, yeah, it may startle me at first, but like, I'd be like, oh my god, and then like, oh, like laugh about it. Well, that's funny. Oh god. If there's one thing about these posts is that like there's so many stupid ass immature people, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, she's getting mad and saying that's an immature prank, but
maybe you're just unfunny. How about that? Okay.
Not the asshole.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Am I the asshole for leaving a pregnant woman outside? So I, 19 female, am autistic, and my sister, 30 female, asked me if I could come over to her house to babysit while she and her husband went out on a much-needed date night. I had some reservations about this, and I've never supervised the kids alone. She usually brought them to my parents' house, and my parents mainly watched them while I did my thing, but also kept an eye on them and kept them entertained. However, my sister assured me that all will be well, and she'll write me a list of instructions to follow and it'll be easy. I asked if I could have a friend over with me, but she said no, under no circumstances am I to allow strangers in the house. Anyways, 3 hours in, and a pregnant lady comes knocking, and she was distressed, looking like she wasn't feeling well. She told me she's the next door neighbor and that she forgot her keys at home, and she has no place to stay until her husband comes back. She also told me that she's dizzy and not feeling well. I felt very conflicted on one hand. I didn't know this woman and I wasn't sure if she was telling the truth about being my sister's neighbor, so I didn't think letting her in was an option. I called my sister many times to ask permission, but she didn't pick up. On the other hand, I didn't feel comfortable leaving her in that state outside in the cold. I tried calling my parents too, but they didn't pick up. I was basically left alone to decide. I brought out a chair to the porch and told her she can sit there and wait for her husband if she'd like. I also offered her some water and food, but she politely declined and decided to wait outside of her house. She proceeded to wait 2 hours till her husband came back, and I saw her crying at some point. I felt so bad, but I felt like my hands were tied, and I tried calling my sister and my parents many times, but nobody picked up. When my sister came home later that night, I told her what happened, and she lashed out at me, calling me an idiot and saying when she told me not to allow strangers in, she didn't think that she needed to tell me her 7-month pregnant neighbor in distress was an exception to the rule. My parents also later reprimanded me on taking everything so literally and being an idiot. Since everyone is asking why she didn't go to another neighbor, I'm not sure exactly. I'm gonna explain the layout. That doesn't really matter. Okay.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole because of what her sister said, but also, like, if you didn't know the person who was knocking the door and asking, like, to help or, like, whatever, like, maybe I'm just, like, overly paranoid, but, like, people do that shit all the time as, like, a sex trafficking, like, thing. So I would be, like, scared. If anything, like, I would be like, oh, do you want me to call 911? Like, if you're pregnant and not feeling
well. Oh my god,
well.
I did that once. Story time. I went to a concert last January, and I was standing outside, me and this girl were waiting for an Uber. This woman, it sucks, like, being a woman and, like, doing that, because it's like, you want to help, but it's like you just can't trust anybody. So she comes up to us and she's like, do you guys have any money, like yada yada, and we're like, I had like $50 on me in cash. Like I'd said on the Uber there, like to my friend, like, oh, I have like money to spend luckily if we need food, because there's a piece of place right upstairs. So when she asked that, in my brain I was like, if she fucking says that I have money, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
And so she was like, no, we don't have any money, and I was like, thank God, because it's not even like if there was somebody, like I'll give them something, you know, but I had like 20s and like things like that, and the situation just seemed so weird. And she literally was like, my friends left me and like I don't have my phone, and we were like, okay, we can call an Uber for you. Yeah. She was like, no. We were like, okay, if your friends have your things and won't come give them back to you, that's theft. We can call the cops for you. Yeah. No, she won't let us call the cops. So immediately I was like, that's fucking weird. Yeah. And there's like all of these guys around us, and she didn't go to any of the guys. When I lived in an apartment, if my dad didn't tell me that the maintenance guys were coming in, they would literally say maintenance and they have the key to get in. So it's not like they're like able to break in, because it's one of those like electronic like keys. So it's not like they could pick the lock and come in. I would hide in my room. Yeah. I'm 19 and like, yeah, I don't trust anybody, so I'm not the asshole. Yeah. And it's not your house. You don't know any of these people. Exactly. You read another one's meaning. Help people, but be careful.
Am I the asshole for kicking someone off the minibus because I'm tired of him farting? I own a minibus and I run a service between different cities in my country and other countries. It's usually 7 to 9 hours depending on road conditions. About 2 hours in, I smell a horrendous smell. I ignore it, it disappears. It appears and disappears around 5 times in the span of an hour. I turn around and everyone's holding their breath, rolling down windows while it's snowing. I ask if someone needs to use the bathroom. We don't know who farted. This happens 4 more times. So I stop at a gas station and I said, everyone is using the bathroom now. I'm not tolerating the smell anymore. Some people wouldn't go, and I told them they were not getting back on until they went to the bathroom, so some did. We get back on the road and it's the same thing again. Everyone knows who's doing it as they heard him. I pulled over at the next gas station and told him to leave. He's pissed, saying he has a business meeting or something, and I told him I don't care, I'm tired of smelling his farts. He asked for a refund, so I just throw some coins at him and drive off. Some people said I was an asshole, while others said he deserved it. What do you think?
I have someone with tummy issues. Sometimes you just gotta let one rip.
I know, but it was like repetitive. But at the same time, and like you could say like, oh well, he let people, like he gave everyone a chance to use the bathroom, but like,
is he supposed to do bathroom checks?
Sometimes you're just like farting, like you don't have to like poop or anything, like you're just like, you just got rank
you do
farts.
Be farting.
Right. I don't think, I wouldn't say he's an asshole, like I understand the frustration, because like that can be.
But what's the context of this man? Is he like an old man who like genuinely can't control it?
I don't know. Maybe he has like IBS.
Am I the asshole for pointing out the historical inaccuracies of my girlfriend's erotic writing? My 23 male girlfriend, 20 female, let me use her old computer while mine was broken, and I found an old archive written by her when she was 16. It's not as overtly sexual as you may be thinking. It has sex mostly towards the ending, but it's mostly romantic and very emotional. The maid is clearly meant to be the version of my girlfriend. Everything was fine for me until the part where they arrived to a train station. The maid wanted to leave because she couldn't bear for her romance to be hidden anymore. The man was following her and trying to convince her to stay. The issue is that I found the general representation of the situation, and later in the story, the trains themselves, to be full of, is that supposed to say inaccuracies? Whatever. I'm a train enthusiast and know a lot about the history of rail transportation in the United States. So I talked to my girlfriend about it, and she got upset because she says I shouldn't have read that because it was a personal thing from when she was a teenager. She was also mad that my reaction is something as superficial as the level of train accuracy. Am I the asshole?
Yes. Like, I understand.
The title of it is so much better, though. The historical inaccuracies of my girlfriend's erotic writing.
Like, I understand. We were talking about this yesterday, actually, is like, and we're the same way, is like, if we know that we are factually correct about something, we're not going to give up a fight. Yeah. But with that being said, you like, okay, she's not interested in trains, so how is she going to know? Like,
what's so funny is he's reading a fan fiction, basically, of his girlfriend, and
that's what he's focusing on.
Yeah, he's like, this is not accurate to like the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Also, not to mention, how did he find the story? Was he like going
He's
through?
Snooping. Yeah. Men ain't shit.
He was going through her computer, which is like, don't do that.
I think I'm trying to picture her finding out and being like embarrassed and crying and mad. Why would you look? Why would you look at my stuff? She's like all pissed off and embarrassed, and he's like, that train? Like, are you kidding me? Like, he's so focused on the wrong thing. I think that's so funny.
Yes. the asshole, 100%.
Really? Oh my god, I have to read this one.
I wouldn't say he's an asshole, but that's just kind of weird.
I'm gonna cut you off, and I'm gonna read this one. God, I cannot fucking read this.
Why?
Am I the asshole for using my wife's $400 hairdryer on my nards?
Okay.
35 male here. My wife, 32 female, bought herself this awesome hairdryer from Dyson last month, and she paid over $400 for it.
Not the Dyson.
Not the Dyson.
Oh my god.
This is easily the coolest hairdryer I've ever seen. It's silver and purple. It has this really cool design. Reminds me of the plasma rifle from Halo. We're off to a great start. Super quiet as well. You can dry your hair in stealth mode, he says. I was so impressed by this driver that I asked my wife if I could use it too. She said I could use it whenever I wanted, and it was good that I use it to get the money's worth. Oh. Yeah, if you're paying $400 for a hairdryer, that's ridiculous. I started using it every morning after my shower to dry my hair instead of just a towel. I have short hair, so it only took a minute to dry. Still felt like I wasn't getting much use out of it, so I started experimenting. I tried drying my armpits, making applying deodorant much nicer, and I started drying down below. Side note, 100% do recommend. This morning, my wife walked into the bathroom after my shower and saw something perhaps she wasn't meant to see. For the record, I did not intend for her to come in, but I didn't have the door lock. I had 1 foot on the door, 1 foot on the counter, hairdryer in hand pointed towards Venus and Earth. I may have been humming the Halo theme. Oh my god. My wife had a bit of a freak out and was like, what are you doing? I stopped to remind her that she said I could use the dryer whenever I wanted. She countered with saying, didn't say I could use it that way. So I'm not sure if my wife has a point here. I definitely did not explicitly state how I was going to use the dryer, but there was no conversation of limitations beforehand. Am I the asshole?
Okay. I wouldn't say he's an...
as long as he's not putting his literal...
I feel like if it's not touching it,
I don't
then
care.
Sure.
It's a $400 dryer. If you're not using it on every inch of hair on your body, I'm gonna be pissed.
I disagree.
If it was like,
first of all, I understand like using it, like not using a towel for your hair because, you know, whatever, but like you can use a towel to dry your armpits and to dry your nads. Like that, it's like no one's gonna see that. Like it's fine. If I was in the wife's position, I'd be like, just like, what the fuck are you doing?
The hairs aren't long enough for it to get in contact, is my point. Again, I would think it's funny. I'd be like, you missed a spot. Let me help. The way that's written too, I aimed it towards Venus and Earth. That's crazy.
Yeah, as long as it's not like touching anything, then
who cares?
Whatever. I think, yeah, the wife may have overreacted a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna find some more.
Guys may have started humming the Halo theme.
That's funny. Am I the asshole for showing up at my ex's wedding in a pretty dress? My ex and I had a peaceful divorce. We co-parent our 3 children together, and there haven't really been many issues. My ex is getting married to Stephanie. I like Stephanie. She's been great with the kids and makes my ex happy.
I'm saying not the asshole.
My ex invited me to their wedding, and I was happy for him. It was my day with his kids, so it made sense for me to come with this reasoning.
Wait, that's already weird. I feel like that should be an exception. It's my day with the kids, but it's the wedding day.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're co-parenting, why? Really? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Hang on, lights are about to go out.
When I arrived at the wedding, Stephanie thanked me for dropping the kids off and brushed me off. We'd never had any issues before. I explained that I was going to stay for the reception. She was very upset. I was confused because I assumed she knew I would be in attendance. It turned out she didn't consider that I would actually accept the invitation.
That is so me. When you're like, no, I got it, I'll pay for it. And the other person's like, okay. And I'm like, what the you're supposed to argue.
I told her that I was invited, and since I took the 2-hour drive, I would be staying for the entire duration. She didn't like this response. Stephanie asked me to leave, and I stood my ground. She went on to complain about my dress upstaging hers. My ex and former mother-in-law helped her calm down, and the wedding shortly began. I thought that was the end of it, but later in private, Stephanie accused me of trying to ruin her special day. She's convinced that I wanted to show off and make the wedding about my divorce. She said it was rude for me to not leave after the bride requested it because it was her special day. I told her that I am not responsible for her insecurities, and once again reminded her that I have no interest in stealing my ex back.
I want to see
that
the dress.
That may be her dress, yeah. Hold on. Oh my god. This is the dress.
It's from Amazon. Here's my thing. I'm saying not the asshole. Say it like as rudely as that on the wedding day is like, hold off a little bit, you know?
I'm gonna say asshole. Because like,
she can help if she's hot.
You can help what kind of dress you're wearing. Also, not to mention, the bride asked her to leave.
Yeah, but the groom said she could come. She wasn't expecting her to say yes. So if you're gonna invite them and then get mad that they show up, that's stupid.
That's true. Okay.
Not the asshole.
Okay, fair.
Okay, we got one ready to go.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for switching from non-dairy to dairy milk and inadvertently making my flatmate shit herself in an interview? I may have seen this one on TikTok, actually. I feel like I've heard this one. But me, being lactose intolerant and dairy-free, I would like to share it. I'm not lactose intolerant. I buy hazelnut milk because I like to have it in my coffee, yada, yada, yada. My flatmate is severely lactose intolerant, though, and has been drinking my milk ever since she moved in a few months ago. I don't have an issue sharing it with her, but the issue is she drinks all of it every day, and I'll get a single cup of coffee out of an entire carton, and sometimes she'll drink the entire carton before I've had a single drink, and she never replaces it or refunds me or acknowledges that it wasn't hers. At some point, she stopped buying her own milk, and I was having to buy new milk daily. Non-dairy milk is also so expensive. I asked her many times why she was drinking my milk, and she said that if she does, she can buy a new carton, and she would say sorry, that she grabbed the first milk she saw and she'd get me a new one, but she never would. I started getting annoyed that I would bring it up and said I was overdramatic when I mentioned how much it was costing me. Last week I got sick of it and decided to go back to drinking dairy milk, thinking that as she's severely lactose intolerant, she would stop and buy her own. I thought wrong. The dairy milk is clearly labeled with a bright red label on it that says cow's milk, but she helped herself anyway. Unfortunately, the day she decided to try the dairy milk was the day she had a new job interview, and the effects of the dairy-laced coffee she took with her kicked in as she was in the middle of it and she didn't make it in time. She came home completely furious and laid into me about how I ruined her life, how this job was the opportunity she needed, and I destroyed her by being a selfish that I did it deliberately because I was too uptight to share my milk. Yada yada yada. Threatened to report me to the police.
No, not the asshole. What the fuck? Not the asshole at all. That's crazy.
I think if you both were lactose intolerant and you like planted it purposefully to make her shit herself, that's totally different than you not being lactose intolerant and buying your own milk and her stealing it.
Yeah. But also it's like, even if this person did plant it,
it's still her milk.
Right. And the other person knows she's lactose intolerant, and she should look at the thing and say, oh, it's not or it is dairy milk. I shouldn't eat this, or I shouldn't drink this. So no, not the asshole. That's crazy.
If somebody does it to me, though, I would be pissed, but like, then again, it is my fault.
It's totally her fault.
Am I the asshole for yelling at my mom that I hate Harry Potter and to let me live my own life? As the title suggests, my mom is a huge Harry Potter fan. Me and my dad actually met in a Harry Potter IRC, and that says like Discord but for old people. In the early 2000s, got married and had kids, and from day one decided to embarrass us for life for naming us after Harry Potter and Star Wars characters. But like, some of them I can get down with.
I mean, if it was just like Harry or Ron, but if it was like Hermione though, that's an issue.
It's been hell. I have a stupid name, and since we were little, my parents forced us to have Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel. Don't bring the boys into this. On our throats, everything is about dragons and magic and blah blah blah. I'm so sick of it. Every birthday, every holiday is just an organized fandom. I mean, like, that's annoying, because if they don't like it, then like, that's not fair.
And also, to be like, just to like say, like, I am a massive Harry Potter fan. I have a tattoo for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So
we both like Star Wars. I'm a huge
cringe.
Marvel person, but I would never name my child Anakin Skywalker.
No.
So every Christmas and the days leading up to it, we have to sit down and watch Harry Potter movies. It's so fucking boring. I can usually get away with knitting or drawing. Knitting? You are the asshole.
You're gonna say that watching Harry Potter is boring, then go knit? Come on, be for real.
I arranged to go over my friend Missy's house instead for 2 nights. My mom got really mad and started talking about how it's a family tradition, how I'm basically rejecting her, and went on a whole thing about how you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Harry Potter.
Oh my god.
I finally had it and just yelled, nobody cares that you were a big name in the Harry Potter fan club. I don't like Harry Potter. I don't like Star Wars. I hate Marvel movies. They're all so boring. Please just let me live and have my own interests. That's basically it. I couldn't help it. I started crying. I was about to be so frustrated because everything has always had to be about Harry Potter, this, Star Wars, that, and now as we're getting older, they're starting to do Game of Thrones.
Like, it's one thing to be a fan and
I'm
like,
gonna say not the asshole.
No, it's one thing to be a fan and like try to like get your kids into it, but to like force them and naming him, that's
no, not even naming the birthdays, like the organized birthdays, and not letting them have their own birthdays is crazy.
Yeah, like to like force it upon them is crazy. I could not imagine. Oh, that's horrible. Am I the asshole for giving my cat more attention than my boyfriend? No.
Me. Not the asshole.
I, 35 female, have a tomcat, Bacon, that I got as a kitten nearly 13 years ago. I've been dating my boyfriend, Rob, 31, male, for about 2 years. We met through a mutual friend at the place we both work close to 3 years ago, around the beginning of COVID, and hit it off. He ended up moving to my city in a different state than he was in about 2 years ago to try a relationship with me. Bacon has had health issues in the last couple of years as he's gotten older, so I've been giving him extra attention since about the time Rob moved here to be close to me. The problem, things were going well until the last few months. Rob has become more distant, and when I asked him about it, he seemed very evasive of the question at first, which is strange because we usually talk freely about anything that's bothering us. I pressed him more, and he eventually admitted that he was, again, in his words, tired of being second fiddle to my cat. I was a little shocked, and when I asked him what he meant, he kept hesitating, but eventually started going on about how He understands how much I love Bacon, but that he thinks my relationship to him is unhealthy. He then basically tried to explain how my love for my cat is beyond what can be considered normal, and that I might even have attachment issues to my cat. He even suggested I could use therapy. He went on to say how he's thought a lot about it and simply doesn't want to / can't be with someone who doesn't put him first, as he apparently does to me. Obviously this really hurt my feelings, so things started getting heated and I basically yelled at him to explain how my love for my pet of 14 years is unhealthy. I was taken aback and told him to grow up and that Bacon will always come first as long as he's alive, because he's been with me for his entire life and depends on me for everything, and he's been my best friend for over a decade. I also explained how he's getting old and needs me, and then told Rob he just needed to figure out how to deal with it. Am I the
All that over a cat.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things kind of missing. If she like truly wasn't giving her boyfriend like any attention, and like if he was like,
how old was this man? He can't entertain himself.
35, they said.
You're a 35-year-old man and you can't entertain yourself. We've got this other guy in a bathroom, Dyson air wrapping his nards, and you're getting mad that your girlfriend's hanging out with her cat?
Well,
that she pays for?
Yeah.
Be serious.
I mean, I think like, I don't know, there wasn't really enough information there. I feel like if he was like consistently asking to like go on date nights or whatever, and she'd be, and oh my god, and she was like, oh no, well Bacon needs me tonight, but it's like every night, then it's like, okay, well.
I still say not the asshole. I mean, not the asshole for her giving the cat attention.
Yeah.
I already have a few more, but otherwise we'll be going for literally a million years. So we're gonna come back and do this another time. That's it. Thanks.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.